All right, welcome to another video from the chart readers. Today I'm going to do a quick review of the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, and the Dow Jones. My plan was going to make this tomorrow, actually, once the week ended, but it was a big day today, and it's definitely worth discussing. So I wanted to make a little video quick, and I'll probably make another one over the weekend just to discuss how the week ends. Because again, tomorrow is an important day, right? So don't let today kind of blind you, right? Make sure the follow through happens tomorrow. Tomorrow will be key. But before I get into the details, let's just kind of review, right? What are we going to do? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly chart. I will probably jump into the monthly as well, because again, I like to take that longer term view. And look, the exact same things we do on the stocks, we're going to do on the majors, right? We have our same 5 moving averages. And then there's only 2 here, but we have our horizontal support and resistance line, excuse me. And then once we're done up here, we're going to use the MACD and the RSI to finish it off, okay? So I've always said on these videos that generally you shouldn't see anything remotely close to 1%, let alone 2% or 3%, right? These major markets are generally in the 0.5% or under range. Either they're up 0.2, either they're down 0.1, but there shouldn't be major movements, right? On top of that, one of the things that I just love to see was this bounce pretty much happened on my line, right? So again, at this point, I'm going to zoom out one more. There we go. So we've lost 1, 2, 3, all 5 of my moving averages on this daily chart, right? And we use these lines to gauge, how it's going to go. But once you don't have these lines anymore, that's where you really have to be able to draw some good support and resistance lines. And I mean, again, like almost to the penny, we dropped to it and then it was able to be a support and bounce you up, right? That's exactly why it's called a support line. So again, this shouldn't have been a surprise if you watch these videos. It pretty much bounced on support because again, if it didn't bounce on the support, I'm going to zoom out. Where was the next line, right? Give me a sec. The next line's all the way down at 3,500, right? So it was really, really important that it bounced here because again, if not, it was going all the way down there, right? So I'll come into the weekly again shortly, but let's just review a few things, right? Number 1, the 8 moving average line, okay? We have still been trading under for quite a while. There was this 3-day blip right here, we'll call it, and then it came back down to being under. From there, we've been tracking this 20, okay? I made it last time and I'm gonna do it one more time. So from this corner here to basically hitting this and then just extending it through, right? So that's how I'm making this trend line. It is almost on the 20 exactly. It now looks like the 20 is coming a little steeper, and it actually looks like we've now made a steeper downtrend as well, okay? And one of the things that I've said is as things get steeper, it does kind of indicate things getting worse, right? So there's gonna be a really big test coming up pretty much on the 8 moving average, right? Is it gonna be able to get over it and break this downtrend? From there, is it going to even be able to get over the 20? And then honestly, even past that, this is kind of going to be the next important one. And honestly, after that, there's still a pretty hard cluster right here, right? So a good amount needs to happen in terms of getting out of the downtrend. And then just remember, I'm going to zoom out even more, okay? So I'm going to do it let's do it from here. Why not? Let's just see what the whole thing looks like. So again, I'm going to take the corner of that green. I'm gonna start here. No, I'm gonna now come up. So right, I wanted to come here, see where it went. It came too low. So now this is the point I gotta make sure I hit and we go back up, right? So that's there. I'm gonna kind of make it a little rough from this far out. That's pretty much there. And then that's pretty much there, okay? So again, we have this downtrend, we have this downtrend, and then this major one. So again, one battle point is going to be pretty much the death line between the 8 moving average and the death line. The next one up here might be whatever this is at. And again, if you remember, there are 3 numbers that sit in this channel that are not listed out. but it's 11.3, 11.5, and 11.7. I imagine this is probably 11.3 if I had to just kind of eyeball it, right? Then nothing really matters until you can pretty much call it the 200 moving average. Until we get over the 200 moving average, there is no break of the downtrend, okay? There's a lot of lines between here and there. So just don't let one 2-day thing kind of blind you. Because look, I'm just looking here. That was a bigger day, okay? And yeah, there were a couple other days that came up, but again, one of the lines slapped that thing down, okay? So just and then obviously it got worse from there, right? But just remember, don't let one day fool you, because that's how people lose money, right? That's why we do this technical analysis here. So let me get rid of all those. Let's zoom in. But hey, a couple things. I like this RSI, right? So maybe it'll move up a little bit. Right now, in all honesty, I care about two things. Number one, get over the death line, because that'll obviously mean get over the 8. Number two, it's going to be this 20. Because again, we've had one test here, 2 tests here, 3 tests here. Maybe this is the 4th one. Maybe the 4th one will be enough to break it and now kind of start chipping at this, right? And again, there was a bounce point, so it made sense. And if this didn't happen, it was going down to 9.4. So let's look at the weekly really quickly. Okay, again, look, the weekly is still having a rough RSI. It's definitely a very tight RSI though. So hey, even if it loops up a little bit, I'm still going to need a bit of convincing, right? But it's this hammer down might have been, rejected by this hammer up, right? So I think it's kind of funny that these two are almost offsetting each other, right? Ending pretty much right in the middle. And again, it just goes to show the amount of uncertainty, right? All these people thought it was going to go really high up. All these people thought it was going to go really low down. We're pretty much sitting exactly where we were last week, right? Ooh, excuse me, hiccup. So just keep things like this in mind as we move. And look, there's a tight cluster forming, and I gotta guess this is 11.3. Oh, 11, a little bit less, but looks like the green 8 moving average is at 11.25, and then the purple is at 11.1. So again, not too far from the 11.3 number, but again, we're not here for perfection. We're here for just setting a plan and adjusting as the plan goes. So let me just look at the monthly real quick. And then obviously I talked a lot on the NASDAQ. I'm expecting to see a lot of, okay, so I got to stop my sentence. You can see how important the death line is here, because again, that brings us to the 50 on the moving average, right? And I mean, this pretty much sums up the last 2 weeks actually really well, and it's the monthly chart, right? They literally offset each other, and we're sitting right at the same spot. So a very, very uncertain first 2 weeks, right? Again, very, very uncertain first 2 weeks, right? So yeah, don't let this one day fool you. I really care about breaking this. Then I care about breaking this, right? But getting over the 20 has been a challenge. So let's go to the S&P 500. And again, I imagine we'll see a lot of similarities. Again, one more time. So this actually bounced off the death line itself. So the S&P 500 has not crossed under yet, okay? And one of the things I've said is when we get to the Dow Jones, you'll see it. The Dow Jones hasn't crossed under yet. And all three will do the same thing. And hey, maybe these two are strong enough to bring NASDAQ out, right? So that for sure is a possibility in the back of my mind. Right now, I'm still a little more pessimistic until I get better confirmations, right? But again, look, you should see a lot of the exact similarities that we saw. 1, 2, 3 tests on the 20. Hey, maybe this will be the 4th one that breaks it up. We've definitely lost all 5 moving averages, right? But we at least were able to use our horizontal line to be a support line to actually support the fall and bounce us up, right? So good lines will make you some good money. I promise you, right? I love my lines. I sincerely do. This is not financial advice, obviously, but I hope you maybe are using these as well, right? Again, let's look at the weekly real quick. So this one, again, hasn't lost the 200, right? NASDAQ definitely did. S&P 500, same indecisiveness, right? Same indecisiveness the 2 weeks. The one good thing is we're actually still up on the 2 week window, right? NASDAQ was pretty much, almost penny for penny the same line. This, hey, we're at least up a little bit. You can see we're a little less than 1% up on the week, right? That said, the uncertainty really speaks volumes, right? A lot of traders thought we were running. A lot of traders thought we were dropping. We're pretty much sitting right here in the same place we were beginning of the month, right? So again, and then let's just look at the monthly. I imagine we're going to see that same 50 line. We are. And again, just like we saw in the NASDAQ, we see the uncertainty just a little bit clearer. Not as uncertain as this week was, but still a doji for sure, right? And then we will end it on the Dow Jones, the DJ30, Dow Jones Industrial. Again, same thing. Hey, look at that. This actually broke the 20, okay? Again, 1, 2, 3 tests and an actual break. Same up RSI, a nicer MACD actually. A very, very, very negative MACD, but still at least this green over red sloping up that we like to see. So hey, maybe this is indicative that the other two will actually break their respected 20s, right? Again, I care about tomorrow way more than I care about today. Are you able to follow through and hold it up here? Or are you just going to drop down here and just kind of fake a lot of people out, right? So I for sure care about tomorrow. But honestly, I didn't know that this broke the 20. It obviously was the exact same cluster, right? It's a 2-line cluster with my one right in the middle. So that's positive for sure. But again, I need to see a close up here. Literally, just close at like $30,039. Close at 25 cents higher would still make me happy. Obviously, higher would make me happy, but that's good to see. I'm just quickly gonna draw the same trend lines just to make sure you guys see the same point, right? So again, we have the full downtrend. I'm gonna hit this one, right? Yeah, this is the full downtrend. Boom. Then we've started this secondary drop to that. Then really we looks like we just broke this one is what I would say, right? So using this point coming through, we have broken the first of the downtrends. Very cool actually. So keep that in mind if you're on the short sides, right? Because I've shown some of those inverse tickers. But hey, this might be indicative that the others are going to make that first break as well. The weeklies are, oh, so this is still the daily. But like I said, the RSI and the MACDs did look good. It looks a little better as you zoom out, right? But again, look how negative that is. So just keep that in mind. That's going to be real hard to get up here. But hey, maybe we'll even break this one, right? And then start making our way towards this cluster, right? So Dow Jones has definitely been the strongest. And it's really funny to see how low and how close it got to its death line before making the rise up, right? So but yeah, all that said, tomorrow's confirmation really matters a lot, okay? Hopefully we get it, and that should be at least good short term for some stocks, right? At least for Friday, maybe even Monday going into next week, right? But still a lot needs to happen to break the downtrend, and don't forget that. Hey, I really hope you're learning. If you subscribe, obviously, I'd love that, but otherwise, I sincerely appreciate all the hours people are putting into this. And I hope you're learning. Don't hesitate to ask any questions either. Happy trading.